Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new vid of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out a new vid from the film theory about how Netflix is dying. But apparently Matt has an idea on how to save it. Here, I'll save us all the 15 minutes and say how to save Netflix. First, decrease the price. 2, stop canceling good stuff. 3, expand your inventory and add new stuff. And, listen to the fans and the people that actually pay for your content. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and call that an end, since that's all that needed to be done. I'll see all of you folks in the next video. Now, we both know that was a joke ending. Well, let's get into the real vid.
Netflix is tanking. They're raising prices, they're cutting content, and they're doing the unthinkable. Not letting you share your password. But today, I have the solution. Today, I am gonna single-handedly save Netflix.
What you got? How are you gonna be the messiah of Netflix?
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that puts the I in binge. If you haven't seen it in the news by now, Netflix is in trouble. The beloved video rental service has actually lost subscribers for the first time ever in its history. And as a result, its stock price has plummeted down into the pooper, sending it to the lowest it's been in nearly 5 years. It is a bloodbath. Now, as the Film Theory guy, I've spent a lot of time on Netflix binging their shows. I went frame by frame through Squid Game. I love me some Stranger Things. I aspire to be a judge on Nailed It, and I strongly consider Inside Job to be the new Rick and Morty. Heck, I even watched and rewatched Sabrina the Teenage Witch to search for signs of Mephisto.
It's not Mephisto!
TLDR, I don't want Netflix to go away, but things aren't looking too good. The loyalist of film theorists watching right now might
Yeah, okay. Alright. Yo, it's Mephisto on the phone. He wants me to remind all of you to like, comment, and subscribe. And down in the description will be a link to the original video. Oh, what's that? Yeah, he also says to support the original creators and all they do. Hey, I'm not selling you my soul, now stop! Bastard! I keep telling him, I'm not gonna be his new bounty hunter.
Remember an episode I did 2 years ago shortly after the launch of Disney Plus, all about which streaming services I predicted would live, which would die, and which would tell their story. As a 6-hour multi-part documentary. In it, I specifically said this about Netflix's chances of winning the streaming wars. The TLDR here is that this date night juggernaut ain't going nowhere, at least until it starts running out of money. It spends the vast majority of its revenue on new programming, meaning that it has no buffer to survive a few lean years. Now, Netflix has to perform or die. It has to create its own shows that are big hits, or else it's gonna fall apart. When it starts falling apart, it falls apart in a hurry. So Netflix's chances of being the winner here are slim. Lo and behold, that's exactly what we see happening right now. The company is crumbling under the increased pressure from other streaming services and is now desperately searching for solutions. I mean, I'm not gonna say I call.
First off, no one to use YouTube TV. That's complete and utter crap. I mean, why? Why would you use you know what, I was about to get on a rant. I'm gonna just shut up.
But, you know, might just put a +1 over in this column. Anyway, I want to do my best to help out. So listen up here, who do I talk to for this one? Hold on, I got it. It's in my papers. CEO of Netflix, Reed Hastings. Seamless. I think I have the solutions to your problem. Indeed. Today, MatPat is here to give you 15 minutes of free consulting. We are gonna single-handedly save Netflix. I just hope that you listen a little bit better than some other people I've tried to help in the past. Star Wars. Just saying, they ignored me, and look how well it turned out for them. First, let me catch you up. Netflix was founded way back in 1997. As the story goes, founder Reed Hastings got the idea after receiving a $40 fine at Blockbuster for losing the movie Apollo 13. Now, obviously, that's the fun version of the story that they like to tell the press. In reality, it was just business people trying to figure out how to make money by creating the next Amazon. If Amazon is a store shipping goods directly to your house, then what else could be delivered directly to your doorstep? Movies! And thus, the concept was born. The idea was to create a video rental service with no late fees that would ship the still newish format of DVDs through the mail to you, rather than relying on brick-and-mortar stores. This was fairly successful, but things took a massive turn in 2007 when Netflix began offering the option to stream some of their movies directly through the internet. The standard $5.99 a month disc plan bought subscribers a whopping 6 hours of streaming per month. Ironically, wouldn't be enough time to actually get through an entire season of a show nowadays. Also, as someone who was subscribed through that era, the selection was slim. Usually just a lousy sequel to a movie, while the original remained mail channel only. But you know what? That was all it took. The speed and convenience of streaming became the preferred way to watch. Sure, quality might have been lower when streaming, but sometimes you just need that immediate satisfaction of pumping Bridgerton into your brain. By 2011, Netflix announced production of its first original series, House of Cards, which had a budget of $100 million. Fast forward to today when Netflix is launching a new original series practically every day, and a single episode of Stranger Things cost some $30 million to make. Times have certainly changed. The landscape, though, has also changed. It took them a few years to take streaming seriously, but now entertainment behemoths like Disney and HBO have entered the fray with more production experience, stronger IPs, and deeper libraries, which have allowed them to quickly take a bite out of Netflix's subscriber numbers. And this has resulted in Netflix starting to panic. Early in 2022, Netflix made a series of very controversial statements. First off, the price was gonna go up. To a lot of people, this seemed unfair because it wasn't like Netflix was suddenly offering more than before. In fact, quite the contrary. A few weeks later, Netflix said that it would be pulling back on its original content. All of this then culminated in what's probably become Netflix's most infamous announcement, a promise to crack down on password sharing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to make some very awkward phone calls to my mom, and my aunt, and my other aunt, and my aunt's son-in-law, to show you just how—
Hold on. One thing that that the password sharing is actually useful is the whole, like, family thing and all. Like, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but my family, we have one Netflix account, but multiple profiles. So
bad things are for them right now. Reed Hastings said the company was considering adding a subscription tier that was cheaper but ad supported. This is a huge deal since Netflix's whole thing has been not needing ads. In fact, my boy Reed over here would brag about how they were a better service because they didn't need ads. Now, when it comes to solutions, some are easier than others. For instance, solving the password crackdown is easy. Just don't do it. For almost 15 years now, people have been freely sharing their Netflix passwords. Cracking down now is not the thing that's gonna save you. Password sharing isn't a bug for Netflix, it's a feature. Lots of people think that $10 a month is too much for standard definition quality considering how much they use Netflix, but they don't mind chipping in with a group of their friends. Heck, with a group of 3 people, everyone can pay $4 a month and you get high definition content. If Netflix plans to keep increasing its prices regardless of the reason, password sharing is the thing that's gonna protect them from any negative backlash. Plus, changing your Netflix password on an X is a surprisingly satisfying power move. Just saying, while it might seem like an attractive way to quickly boost the numbers back up, it's a short-term gain at best, as it gets people to question whether they really need this service at all. And it leaves a pretty negative taste in people's mouths for anyone who decides to stick around. It's a move that looks and feels desperate. But let's actually talk about those price increases, shall we? Netflix could have blamed the price increase on the worldwide inflation, but instead they went and said this, quote, "We're updating our prices so that we can continue to offer a wide variety of quality entertainment options." So in Netflix's own words, it's the content that's killing them. Except that they also announced that they're cutting back on original content. This implies that original content is becoming far more expensive to make. And yeah, that actually tracks. Amazon Prime just
So Netflix is saying, pay us more so we can show you less. Netflix, that's not how you do it. You'll pretty much just rent a Hulu.
The most expensive show in TV history, The Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power, which cost an astounding $465 million to make. That is over $100 million more than the budget of Avengers Endgame. Disney Plus spent a reported $225 million on WandaVision, and as I mentioned, the final season of Stranger Things is coming in at roughly $270 million. But the problem isn't the cost, it's what you're doing with the shows once you've spent all that money making them. You ever wonder why I became the analytics guy over here on YouTube? Not only was it because I was a math nerd and I just like numbers, but it was also because these episodes took so darn long to make. 100 hours all by myself with a full-time job to boot. I needed to make sure that each episode I managed to finish got as many views as possible and could last until my next upload. And the analytics helped me figure out how to wring every last view out of each video that I produced. And Netflix, you're sloppy.
And we're back.
About this. You see, there are 3 main types of promotional media: owned media, paid media, and earned media. Owned media is the promotion that you get from the things that you own. Your YouTube channel, your website, whatever. In the case of Netflix, that big rotating banner when you first log in, that's probably the best owned media that they have because everyone who logs in sees it. Paid media is the extra promotion that you get from paying people. TV commercials, ads, influencer campaigns. Let's be honest, Netflix has been mismanaging both of these forms of media for a while now. Did anyone actually see the Cuphead show when it launched? Because I was excited about it, but
I was going to check it out, but then I saw what it actually was, and I was like, it's not sticking to the actual lore of the game, so I immediately dropped it.
Actively had to dig in order to find it on Netflix. Same thing with Arcane, which Netflix says that I have a 97% match for. My friend Colleen, Miranda Sings, literally had a show on Netflix, Haters Back Off, and I had to double check the day that it launched because I didn't see any promotion for it. Those are all failures of owned and paid media.
Yes, they are.
And honestly, it makes sense. When you're launching a new series almost every day, you only have so much promotional budget to go around, so much screen real estate to dedicate to a thumbnail. But that's your problem. You're paying for the content, but you're not promoting it in a way that guarantees that it gets seen by the people who want to see it.
Yeah,
it's like
Netflix,
if
you're
Mr.
messing
Beast
up.
spent millions of dollars on his Squid Game video and then made a title and thumbnail that looked like this. If you can't commit to seeing a show through to its launch, and I mean really giving it your all, then you're just throwing your money away. Save that show for later.
Yeah.
Sure, shows like
Look
The
what you're doing,
Mandalorian are
Netflix.
riding on the backs of giants, but with nearly 222 million subscribers to their service, Netflix can also be a kingmaker here. They can create a
Nice.
hit show out of nothing just by putting something front and center and believing in it enough to let it sit there and be promoted. But you have to commit to doing that, and right now you can't because you just have too much
Need to do that
stuff
with
coming
Inside
out.
Out.
You
Win
have to
season
be
2, damn it.
pickier about what you greenlight, which leads us to the big X factor here that Netflix is missing. It's the third type of media, earned media. That's the stuff that you get for free from people just being inspired to talk about and share what you've done. Now, Netflix, look at where your hundreds of millions of dollars are going. For Lord of the Rings and WandaVision, that money is going directly into merchandisable IP, shows that can show up as t-shirts
Prime
and Halloween
and Disney.
costumes and action figures on store shelves. And well, sure, Stranger
Nice.
Things has some of that. Congratulations, you too can now dress like a normal kid for Halloween. It's one of the few big hits on Netflix actually able to do it. Take a look at Netflix's
I would
biggest
wanna try and dress
stars.
up as
Squid
a
Game, sure,
Demogorgon.
sell some pink jumpsuits and PlayStation masks over at the local Spencer's Gifts. Beyond that, though,
Nice.
remember Bird Box? Huge streaming
Yeah, I remember
numbers,
that.
but you can't sell an action figure of a monster that's invisible. The documentary series
no, you
Tiger
really
King.
can't.
Sure, action figures exist, but are you really
What?
gonna want them? And all of
Wait,
their
those
biggest shows are
action
like
figures
this.
for
The
that
Queen's
show?
Gambit, Bridgerton, 13 Reasons Why. The IP that they're paying to create is watchable.
This
Yeah,
is-
but that's it. They don't have legs beyond the screen
is
because
strange.
shows like Ozark and The Crown aren't really built for anything beyond the screen. Those aren't fandoms that are just gonna go out and buy a Jason Bateman plushie. But you know
Oh,
what
what
is?
the
The
hell?
Mandalorian. You know what looks good on a poster? Grogu. Heck, Baby Yoda is probably the single most
that's how it
important
sounds.
marketing
Grogu.
tool that Disney
Alright.
ever created. Without
I keep wanting
him,
to try
Disney
and
Plus would be
pronounce it
looking
like
very
a
different
Grogu,
these days.
like
When I
from
say that
American
Netflix
Dad.
needs things that can live on store shelves, it's not about the money that you make selling a 13 Reasons Why tape player. It's about the show feeling important and staying top of mind. Baby Yoda
That
has
could be a
earned
regular
so much
tape
media
player
since
and
he
write
was first
13
introduced as
Reasons
people
Why
draw
on it.
him, ship him, meme him, buy plushies and t-shirts of him. You cannot escape
really
Grogu.
cute.
To the point where even people who weren't interested just had to get Disney Plus in order to check out the show and see what all the hype was about. Netflix
I still
shows don't
haven't watched
have
it,
that
and I
baked
never
into their
will.
formulas. They aren't choosing shows that can develop fandoms, and when they do, they aren't doing enough to help cultivate those fandoms. Trusting an algorithm to create
Game
a
of
show that
Thrones.
is a witty,
Nope.
offbeat, dark comedy like Russian Doll might get you a good show, sure, but it's not getting you a fandom. That requires a human touch. But that's all just
Dying
talking
is
about
easy,
show
living
selection
is
and
hard.
promotion.
I saw
There's
that.
one last way that Netflix is shooting themselves in the foot and holding back its earned media potential:
you
release
got?
schedule. Disney Plus released
All right.
WandaVision's 9 episodes between January and March of 2021. Amazon plans to air 1 of 8 episodes of their Lord of the Rings show per week starting in September and ending in November. Netflix has
Nice.
traditionally dropped a full season of their shows all in one day. In their current nosedive panic, they're actually going to split the season of Stranger Things. They're releasing half of the new season later this
I
month
can
and the
see
other
that.
half at the top of July. But regardless
That
of whether
could
we're talking about
actually
one
be okay.
massive dump or a split dump, I think it's costing
Split
them.
dump.
I know, you love binging shows, but what if I told you that you weren't actually liking the experience more? A study done
Oh.
on University of Melbourne students looked at the impact
What are
of
you
watching
getting on,
shows,
Matt
an
Pat?
episode a week, an episode a day, or binged all at once. They found that when binging, you may have a better recollection of individual facts and details linking the episodes, but your overall enjoyment of those episodes decreases. Here's the graph of enjoyment levels. Once a day
see
is
now.
at the top there, the highest levels of enjoyment. The blue line on the bottom represents the group that binge watched the show. Clearly, binge watching is lowering your overall enjoyment. 1 episode a
See
week,
now.
right there in the middle, a little bit bit more standard, and it's still significantly more enjoyable. But why would that be? Well, for one thing, it makes the content feel less disposable. Binging is just that. It feels like junk food. You consume it fast and then you move on. There's no chance to savor something. Compare that to having to wait a week between uploads. One professor associated with the study theorized that there's something of a Christmas morning effect when you have to wait to open your presents. If you're just watching shows in an endless loop, you only activate certain reward centers in your brain. Watching a show releases opiates and cannabinoids that make your brain feel good and tell you to do it again. But opiates and cannabinoids don't represent the entirety of positive hormones in your brain. Anticipatory chemicals such as dopamine get you excited for things to come. Without those reactions, the binge watchers miss out on a large portion of the viewing experience. They don't get time to consider the possible twists, the lingering mysteries, fantasize about possible endings. And while the study doesn't consider this, the bingers in a real-world scenario would be missing out on all the social interactions with their friends. You're cutting out your earned media potential at the knees. I mean, just look at this channel. Film Theory alone was able to put out 3 different WandaVision theories during its run, as each week offered a chance to speculate. But Stranger Things, when everything is out there all at once, ready to consume, the best I can do is maybe guess about the next season. The end result is that Netflix gets short spikes of interest, but then a quick loss of interest. Spreading out the release schedule is practically free marketing for any decent show. It's also going to lower the cost of making new productions because suddenly you need fewer of them. Netflix was somewhat infamous for greenlighting lots and lots of shows to fill its schedule.
I don't know. 5 of my friends got Netflix deals.
Knowing that its fans are binging through its content, Netflix felt a pressure to deliver new content on a constant basis.
Netflix,
after all, Squid Game only kept me watching Netflix for about 9 hours. What am I going to do with the other 721 hours in a month? Think critically about my life choices?
And I'm not talking about Inside Job.
If they spread Squid Game out over 3 months, though, I could fill my time between episodes theorizing about what happens next, who the old guy really is, who was behind it all. That would mean that Netflix suddenly doesn't need to bring out as much content to keep people hooked on their platform. Each customer only needs to gravitate to one show every 3 months, and that is a huge difference. A slower release schedule allows Netflix more time to focus on individual projects, freeing up both budget and promotional space to create fewer but better shows, and then using all of your powers to promote them and ensure that they're winners, rather than being shuffled off the big front page banner the next day when yet another season of The Circle launches. The time between episodes would allow theorists and other fans to engage with the content, create free advertisement, enhance the experience for the fans, and all of it improves user experience as that study showed. To me, it seems like an obvious choice. It's an easy decision that shouldn't take an enormous amount of time and resources to implement, but could save the company untold millions while also making their customers happier. Then, hopefully Netflix won't be losing their users anymore, and won't have to worry about silly things like cracking down on password sharing. Like I said, I really don't want to have that talk with my nana.
Netflix.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Alright, and with that, that is where we're going to leave off today's video. So, I want y'all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creator and all they do. And I'll see all of you folks in the next video. Peace.